Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. Well, today I have an update on the ABK Microsoft merger. We actually got a ruling from the United States District Court regarding this case. Now, this is coming from Florian Mueller, and like usual, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Now, over the weekend, there was a case that was brought in front of the judge. It was a gamers lawsuit stating that Microsoft would change Call of Duty or make it not work on other consoles. And the judge kind of went against this narrative. Now, this was believed not to really be a gamer's lawsuit, but a lawyer's lawsuit, and they failed to block the merger. Now, the actual order is also up. I'll also link that in the description down below, and it's also on his Twitter feed. The former plaintiffs failed to demonstrate that they will be personally irreparably harmed if the merger occurs before the merits decision. There is nothing in the record that suggests upon the merger, Microsoft can do anything to make these Call of Duty versions currently owned by the plaintiffs somehow stop working, let alone would they do so. Thus, the day after the merger, they can play exactly the same way they played with their friends before the merger. It is not likely that Microsoft will make any new versions of Call of Duty that becomes available before a decision on the merits exclusive to Microsoft. Now, this is kind of foreshadowing what the FTC is going to encounter. And since then, I've been doing a lot of research. I've been looking at a lot of forums, a lot of different lawyers' posts to try to give you guys the clearest answer to what the path is going forward. And there is a lot of levels to this. Now, he does go on to give some of his thoughts, and he said that the judge didn't decide on the merits of the complaint for the purpose of denial of the preliminary injunction. She just assumed that the plaintiffs were right, not because she thinks so, but because they couldn't get a preliminary injunction, even if they were right. So the merits were irrelevant at this point. An order on Microsoft's motion to dismiss will follow, and even if the lawsuit is dismissed again in this early stage, it won't succeed. Now, Mueller goes on to give his insight on this and give his prediction on what he thinks the outcome will be. He goes on to say that on Friday, I predicted this outcome and also would likely happen the next day, given that Microsoft had not extended its commitment to not close the merger before the 22nd of May, which is today, and we're not seeing any news that Microsoft is going ahead to finalize this deal. Now, he goes on to say, with the preliminary injunction motion denied, Microsoft could theoretically tell the FTC that they'll now close the deal next week, which would force the FTC's hand in the sense that FTC would have to either give up or go to federal district court and seek a preliminary injunction against the closing of the deal. And in the US, there's nothing that would prevent Microsoft from doing that, and politically, psychologically, the basis would be strong, given after the European Commission decision that the FTC refused to consider behavioral remedies. Now, I've said it many times before, I just think that the FTC's case is really weak, and I think that if it does go into the courts, that they're going to lose. And they've lost all the cases that they brought under this leadership that they have right now. And when the rest of the world is approving this deal, and America is not going to approve this deal, it's just not a good look. So I just don't see the courts agreeing with the FTC. And once again, their reasoning is very weak. Now, he goes on to give us an update on the situation with a follow-up. Now, he has a whole bunch of updates on his page. Like, there's just too many of them to go through, and I do suggest that you follow him if you're interested in this case, because he does have frequent updates, so much so that I just can't keep up with them. But the latest one he says is that the CMA keeps defending its ABK ruling, and the mere fact that the CMA leadership has to write defense opinion pieces shows that politicians and the general public, rightly so, can't see why this is in the interest of the UK. Now, there's a lot of people saying that Microsoft can't pull out of the UK, they need the UK for this deal. Microsoft initially did say that they want the UK, they want China, they want the FTC, they want the EU to approve this deal. However, they can still pull out of the UK. Now, from my understanding of things, what needs to happen is that the formal rejection of Microsoft's offer, it needs to go through by the CMA. Now, the CMA basically has said that they're going to deny this deal, but they haven't actually put it through like a final order. Until that happens, Microsoft can't actually appeal it. So they're going to have to get to that stage first, then Microsoft will appeal it. Also, Microsoft can rewrite the deal. and exclude the UK out of it. So that's how they would get out of the UK market. They would have to rewrite the deal. So they'd have to go into negotiations with Activision. So if that's what needs to get done in order for this deal to be finalized, I do believe that Microsoft is prepared to do that. Now, like I've said in previous videos, this is not their preferred route. There is a lot of pressure from the public, from the politicians on the CMA's decision. I don't feel it's the right decision. I don't understand how they came to this decision. The EU had not the same, I would say, concerns about this deal. Similar, not the same. The CMA, they inflated the numbers much higher than they are. The EU looked at the real numbers and said, okay, you know what? We feel that the best way to get around this, that all parties can benefit from this, is to allow the cloud competitors to have a free license to play these Activision games. So they have approved that deal. China has approved this deal. The rest of the world pretty much has approved this deal, except for the CMA and the FTC. So like I said, they can rewrite the structure of the deal and exclude the UK out of it, and I don't think that's what Microsoft wants to do. But Satya Nadella, he has come out and said publicly that he's not ruling that off the table. He's going to see how this plays out. Now, where it concerns the FTC, this decision over the weekend kind of gives a little foreshadowing into what could happen with the FTC. Now, the FTC would have to go and get a preliminary injunction to stop the deal from being completed if Microsoft said they were going to go ahead and finalize this deal. Now, the courts could say, you know what, we don't see any type of evidence that this is going to cause irreparable harm to gamers or to the industry, so we're not going to offer a block or an injunction for this deal. And at that point in time, the FTC, they would either have to back out or I guess continue on with their court case. Now, if they are granted a preliminary injunction, to my recollection, at least from looking at all the documents and all the different lawyers' opinions, and I could be wrong on this because there's a lot of legal papers to all of this ordeal, and it's kind of confusing to go through all of it. And I do my very best, but to my understanding is that the FTC would have to put up the $3 billion that is the breakup fee for Microsoft if they do indeed get a preliminary injunction. Now, will they put up that money? That is another issue. We're going to need some more clarification on this. I'm just giving you the information that I'm getting in real time. And like I said, you can cover it at Florian Mueller's page. It's linked in the description down below. There is a lot of information in there. What I can tell you as of now, the CMA's decision is not final because they haven't ruled it as final. So they haven't submitted the paperwork to say, yeah, this is our final decision and send it over to CAT for appeal. There is a small chance that they could kind of redact it and approve the deal because they are getting a lot of pressure. But I'll be honest with you guys, I don't see anything that indicates that. They seem pretty headstrong on their position. So I do expect this to go through as final. But Microsoft, once again, they can pull out of the UK. Now, there is another issue that I've seen, and I've seen this from other lawyers, and I've seen this all through Reset Era. There is a thing where CAT, if they find that the CMA was unreasonable, like they came to this conclusion unreasonably and no other body could also come to this conclusion, they can rule against that. Now, once they rule against that and give the appeal, all the reasons for why they denied this deal, they have to be thrown out and they have to come with a new conclusion. And at that point in time, their hand could be forced and the deal could be processed and this could be a thing of the past and we're tweeting out that this deal went through. So we're going to just have to wait and see how this plays out. This is a very interesting story. I'm fully invested in it now. And I know you guys are invested too because you guys keep coming back to the channel for more information. And I'm going to try my best to keep you guys up to date. But I think this is a good win for Microsoft, at least not getting a preliminary injunction by this bogus gamers lawsuit. And I think we can also foreshadow it with the FTC if they were also trying to get a preliminary injunction. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about all of this, so let me know in the comment section down below. And like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.